Welcome to day 7 of 64 Days of Truth. My name is Theo, and today I want to tap into a topic about the energy of destruction and trust and faith. Destruction, disruption, anything that indicates the end of something that is important, something that you love, something that you enjoy. And I want to share this from my own story. I have had many of the things that I love in my life, like deeply, like enjoy, love, that are dear to me, come to a very abrupt end without any indication, without any desire for them to come to an end, without any desire to change them. Like really loving what I'm doing, really loving my life. And all of a sudden, in one announcement, in one moment, in one exchange, something happens that indicates that it's the end of that life. That life from that point on is going to take a completely different path. And somehow, I always had a deep inner knowing that I will be fine, that things will work out. This was not always the case. I remember very distinctly the first time I was able to tap into this level of trust and this level of faith, even when something very important in my life was coming to an end. But prior to that time, I used to be very attached and I used to try to hold on and to keep alive things that were also not working anymore. Things that I loved from my ego, from my mind, was attached from my ego, but wasn't actually in love from a heart space, wasn't in alignment with my soul anymore. It was causing suffering for me and others who were involved in that experience. But I would not let it go. And I would fight the energy of disruption. I would fight the energy of destruction to resist change from coming. And the most uh, significant, I guess, was my first relationship in which there was a lot of attachment, a lot of resistance to letting it go, a lot of fear because it was also the first time in my life I had felt deep intimacy with someone else. It was the fear of what happens without this relationship after 4 years. What does life look like? Being afraid to go into the unknown. And then, few years later, I had an experience where I was living my dream life, and in one moment, I realized that I'm done with that life. And what was presented to me was an extremely extraordinary option, something that was very uh, out of the normal. So I was working as a software developer at Amazon in Seattle, earning very good money with a very beautiful life on the surface. Everything perfect. And in one moment, I got a deep vision that something called me to go to Brazil to quit my life in Seattle, to quit my job and start training in spirituality. That meant I had to let go of a stable income. That meant I had to go and live in a country that I had no idea about. I did not speak the language. I knew one person over there. And on the surface, there was no guarantee that things would work out. On the surface, there was nothing saying that, yeah, this is perfect, you should go for it. On the surface, everything was off. On the surface, there was no reason to do it. And yet, this energy had come into my life, completely disrupting everything. Like, I knew that from that moment on, even if I chose to stay in my life in Seattle, in my life at Amazon, I could not actually consciously ignore the reality that there is a completely different life path available to me. It had already altered my life, it had already disrupted my life. But this time, the difference was that somehow, somewhere within me, this deep trust, this deep knowing had awakened that everything is perfect, everything is going to work out just amazingly. And if I quit my job, I don't have a stable income, which at the age of 24, coming from India, then living in the US for a few years, that paradigm was non existent. I was so deeply programmed into the matrix that this is what life looks like. You get a job, you have a family, and that's just the life part. Like that's just what everyone does. There's like I could not even think beyond that. There was no need to think beyond that because I had got the perfect job. I had all the perks, all the benefits that I could want. I was living in the best country in the world, apparently, and it was like everything was just great. So there was not even a reason to think I would want to end that life. I would want to stop living what I had. But when this energy of disruption and destruction came into my life, it was so easy to say yes, yes, end this life. And that was the first time that it happened that I could gracefully embrace the disruption. And then there were many other times in my life that kept happening again and again and again. And one of them was when also my uh, training and my job at the retreat center where I had lived for 8 years. Again, I had a job that I absolutely loved. This time, I was not just doing work that I loved from my mind, I also loved it from my soul. It felt deeply aligned. I was getting to help hundreds of people every year, completely transform their lives, completely transform my own life, live in an absolutely beautiful place, have the most magical experiences. And yet, again, the intuition came that this life is done. This life is no more. I'm meant to move on. And this time, the moving on was even more uncertain because at least the first time that the intuition had called me, I was moving into this training. I was moving into something that was, I did not know what exactly it would entail, but at least I knew the logical steps I have to take. Okay, I have to quit my job in the US, I have to move to Brazil, I have to come live at this retreat center, I have to train. At least there was some kind of a logical path over here. When I got the call to quit my job at the retreat center and then go on my own path and create my own teachings, create everything from scratch of my own, create my own spiritual business, my own spiritual offering. When that call came, it was there was absolutely no structure, there was absolutely nothing, no map of what is supposed to happen next. There was no guarantee. Again, once again, I had landed a stable income, like like a lot of certainty in my life. I had a job that I loved. I had an income. I was living at a beautiful place. Everything was looking fine on the surface. And yet, the alignment of my soul had shifted. Very, like, at a very deep level, I just knew that I cannot be in that job anymore. And this time, even though there was more uncertainty, my trust and my conviction was even deeper. And this was the difference that there was the emotion of fear, but I was not in the frequency of fear. I was in the frequency of power and trust. In the trust in my own power, in the knowing that I'm going to make it work. Life is in my favor and this is going to work out for me. And it's been 2 years and 3 months since that decision, and life has worked out pretty amazingly in my favor. And it keeps getting better, and it's actually way better than what it was 2 years and 3 months ago. Even though I had the dream job and everything was great, the life that I'm living today, I love it way more than what I had before. Not because I had a certainty that it was going to turn out that way, because I used my power to make it that way. Along with collaborating with the universe was helping me to create this experience. There was a lot of collaboration and co-creation, but it was because I kept responding to my intuition. And what I want to offer to you, what I want to ask you is, how do you receive the energy of disruption and destruction in your life? When life comes and tells you this is over and the path of your life is changing, do you allow it? Do you embrace it? Do you trust it? Do you connect to this deep knowing that the new path, wherever it takes you, how much ever it is uncertain and unknown, it is what is meant to be, and you go with it, you enter it with trust and with power? Or do you resist? Do you cling? Do you stay attached to your old life? Do you fight? Do you start numbing yourself? Do you start avoiding the call and go then deeper into suffering? The more you're resisting, the more you're avoiding, the more you're suffering. So, my question to you is, how much do you allow disruption in your life? And an even deeper question I will ask to some of you who may actually be looking for change in your life, who may be telling the universe, I'm looking for my life's purpose. I'm looking for things to change. I want something uh, more in my life, but you keep feeling frustrated that the universe is not responding, life is not responding, you are stuck, everything is just the same on repeat. But actually, you keep getting the call, you keep getting the intuition, but you keep blocking it, you keep denying it by saying, no, it's not the time right now, I'm not ready, this is uh, this is too scary. And then you forget that you actually got the call, and then next day you start all over again. Why is my life not changing? Why is everything the same? And you enter into the frustration again. And again life calls you and tells you, here is your opportunity, here is an option, here is a different life path. It is trying to disrupt your life, but you're using all your energy to resist that disruption, to block that. I can say from experience that I did that for quite a long time, especially in the second calling. When I received the call that it was time to move on, I tried to avoid it for a good 6 to 7 months. Even though there was a deep knowing that it's meant to happen, there is no avoiding it. I still did a lot to avoid answering that call, but it kept coming back. It kept coming back. And I kept feeling more unfulfilled. I kept feeling more frustrated. My suffering was growing more and more and more until I finally realized, what am I doing? I have been asking. I've been asking for signs and I'm getting all the signs. I've been asking for options and opportunities and I'm getting the options and the opportunities. It's only me who is not answering. It's only me who is not responding. There is a frequency of fear and there is a frequency of power and trust. What it takes to answer the call of your intuition is nothing more than entering into the frequency of power and trust. When you are in that frequency, you can take action because you're connected to your power and you know that somehow or the other you're going to make it. I will keep following my intuition. I will use my power to create and co create life into something magical, into something beautiful, into something that's deeply fulfilling. Or you can be in the frequency of fear and you can keep one thinking of everything that will go wrong, how it will not work out, and how it's not the right time, and how you're not ready, and keep suffering more and keep feeling more frustrated and disappointed with life. Fear turns light into darkness. Power and trust turn darkness into light. Even the unknown becomes known through power and trust. Only by taking that path will you know what is in store for you. Will you know how it's going to work out? Will you know the challenges that you can face and you can overcome because you have power? And this is what I'm teaching in the experience that has started yesterday. So, for those of you who are not tuned in, I'm leading the wormhole experience. It started yesterday. The first phase is completely free, going from the 3rd of June, which was yesterday, up until the 11th of June. If you want to learn to tap into your intuition, if you want to learn to tap into your power and act on your intuition from the frequency of power and trust, this experience has got all the codes for you to enter into that. You can go to the link in the description or on my profile, depending on where you're watching, and sign up for this experience. I'm extremely excited for those who have already joined. The shifts have already started taking place. The energy in this portal is extremely powerful, and anyone who feels called for a shift, a transformation, to answer your intuition, to go on a journey which will be absolutely incredible, which will lead to much deeper fulfillment and a lot more magic in your life. This is the journey that I'm inviting you on. It's called the Wormhole Experience, and I welcome you into it. That's where I'm going to close for today. Thank you for those who have joined live and brought your energy into this. For those who are watching the replay, I would love to hear from you in the comments, or you can send me a message if you want more information about the wormhole. You can check out the link on my profile or in the description. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the love. And I will see you tomorrow for day 8 of this 64-day journey.